Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuouki Zuisoroku, the fan disc material or the extras added to the PS3 version. Today we are reading Toudou Memories of Love 4 and 5. Let's check out these premises. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Memories of Love, Toudou 4, January 1868. After escaping from Kyoto, Heisuke and the protagonist make their way to Osaka Castle, where the rest of the Shinsengumi is waiting. Toudou isn't there when she wakes, but eventually she finds him outside watching the setting sun, something that should have been extremely painful for a Fury. They're always making that vary about how the Furies take the sun between characters. I think if you weren't here, I would have gone nuts a long time ago. Glad to know I can help you hold yourself together. I knew I was just being selfish, but I didn't want to lose him. Even if that meant the Heisuke I got was a Fury and not a human. All that mattered to me was that Heisuke was still alive. When I told him, he responded with a warm smile. He told me that he wanted me by his side. That was something I wanted too, even though I wasn't sure I could be of any help. The one thing I could do, I told myself, just be there for him. When times were hard, perhaps I could help calm his troubled heart. At the very least. November 1867. The Shinsengumi and the guardians of the Imperial Tomb were surrounded by demon-led troops from Satsuma at Aburano Koji. What followed was a bloody and desperate battle, where, in the act of protecting me, Heisuke suffered a mortal wound. If he was to live, he had no choice but to drink the water of life. That was how I became a Fury. December 1867. In the dead of winter, the Battle of Toba-Fushimi began. The Shinsengumi fought valiantly to protect the Fushimi Magistrate's office. But the Satsuma forces were relentless, and eventually the Shinsengumi and their allies were pushed into retreat. In an attempt to escape the burning Magistrate's office, they scattered and fled. Struggling through the stench of blood around us, Heisuke took my hand and led me away. Our frantic path led us through the forest as he struggled to resist the throes of the Fury bloodlust. The forest proved to be hardly safe, however, as we were nearly captured by Kazuma and ultimately saved by Sen, which were really odd turns, but eventually we emerged and reunited with the rest of the Shinsengumi. Safe and among friends at last, Heisuke and I watched the sun set from the walls of Osaka Castle. Memories of Love, Part 4, January 1868. The time we had spent being chased through the forest had been exhausting. But it wasn't until we reached the castle that I realized just how exhausting. Heisuke had left to speak with the rest of the Shinsengumi, and I had wrapped myself in a blanket and fallen instantly and completely to sleep. By the time I awoke, it was already evening. I rushed out into the hall, but it was empty. Where did Heisuke and Hijikata go? I was looking for any signs of life when... Oh, Saito! You're safe, thank goodness.
Chizuru, you appear to be safe as well. That is a relief.
I miss you. Thanks. Where is everybody? I went to sleep as soon as we got here, so I haven't really seen anyone yet. Is everybody okay? No, unfortunately.
Okay may be overstating it. Yamazaki especially. He is seriously injured and in critical condition. Kondo and Soshi did not participate in the battle, and therefore avoided injury, but Soji is not well.
Oh, I see.
As for Gen...
I know. I heard about him as soon as we arrived.
I see.
The news about Gen had been waiting for us at the castle. My heart broke to think that I might never see his warm smile or hear his soft, kind voice again. And now Yamazaki was at death's door as well? Saito, what's going to happen to the Shinsengumi now?
There are men gathering at the castle, albeit slowly. Once our numbers are replenished, I'm sure we'll return to Edo. You should rest while you can.
Okay. Oh, have you seen Heisuke?
Heisuke? I believe I saw him go outside earlier by himself.
What? But the sun's still out. I'm going to go check on him. Becoming a Fury had taken a toll on Heisuke, although it was more mental than physical. His confidence had been on shaky legs over the past few days, and I didn't want to leave him alone. With a nod, Saito headed outside. As soon as I left the inner keep, I could see that the sun was setting, lighting the evening sky on fire with beautiful swaths of red. Silhouetted against it was Heisuke.
Oh, Chizuru.
What are you doing to yourself, Heisuke? The red light of the sunset bathed his whole body, making it look as if he was covered in blood. That's not a happy sight.
Morning. Guess it's a little weird to say that, huh?
Not really. Maybe. I just woke up, so it's morning to me too. Anyway, are you okay? Your body, I mean, the sun? Whatever the water of life did to a man's body to make him a fury, part of it was to make him feel pain whenever the sun's rays hit him. I was certain Heisuke was no exception. He looked at me and let out a bitter laugh.
I'd be lying if I told you it didn't hurt. My eyes feel like they do when you stare into a really bright light, and the rest of my body just feels kinda numb. Part of me wants to throw up.
Well, why are you standing out here then?
I'm used to feeling physical pain. I know how to deal with that. But the thing that scares me is that the world looks different to me now.
What do you mean by that? Different? How?
Well, this sunset probably looks really pretty to you, right?
Yeah?
Me too. Well, it used to. I mean, it looks nice and all, but now when I think of something beautiful, all I see is blood. That kind of freaks me out.
Heisuke.
Hey, don't look so worried. I mean, yeah, my heart and body are in pain, but I feel like I can face that pain now.
What? Why? Silly girl, because you're by his side.
Because I've got you.
Oh, you made him say it and blush. Naughty Chizuru. The words were barely out of his mouth before he turned away, but not fast enough to hide the blush on his cheeks. I was starting to grow a bit cold, but Heisuke showed no sign of movement. I drew myself up and stayed where I was. Heisuke, be considerate. Notice that I'm getting cold.
Chizuru?
What? We might be watching the same sunset, but what we saw was different. I bit my lip, swallowed my tears, and slipped my hand into his. Heisuke's heart was stronger than his fury blood. Even so, there would be pain. So, just as we had in the forest, I held his hand as we looked up at the sky. Perhaps I wasn't good for much, but if nothing else, at least I could be there for him. I guess we finished watching the sunset, watched it to completion. The sun dipped below the horizon, and the deep purple of night chased the red of sunset as the moon rose. Aw, that's actually a really good picture of Heisuke. Heisuke looked up at it and laughed.
Dang, it sure does feel better at night.
I like the night too.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I always loved staying up later. I used to stay out all night with Shin and Sano all the time.
Hey, keep that stuff to a minimum, okay?
Oh, well, just to, clarify, they always kind of forced me to go, and I just went along because I didn't want to hurt their feelings, okay?
Yes, I'm sure that's exactly what Nagakura would say if I asked him about it, huh? You guys are really close. Not just as captains either, I mean. It's like you're a family. I wish we could have spent more time together. Me too.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to us now.
Uh-huh. It's hard to tell which way the war's going to go. And Kazuma and his men might show up again. I don't know, I think Sen pretty much cowed him.
Well, I'd like to say if they pop up, I'll do whatever it takes to keep you safe. But the truth is, I can't hold a candle to him. If Kazuma shows up, I don't know what'll happen.
Oh, I'm making a picture of their hands together. I felt his grip tighten on my hand. Heisuke turned to look at me, but his eyes were far away.
It's like the darkness, you know? We can't see where we're going. If you're going to go down this road with me, then that's going to mean walking in the darkness. We won't be able to see where it's going until we get there.
Heisuke.
I can't ask you to come with me if that's what it means, but...
But what? I realized his hands were trembling. He'd been in too many battles to be afraid of fighting, but perhaps what really frightened him was the thought of being unable to protect what was dear to him. I felt my heart swell and wrapped both of my hands around his. I want to go with you. I made up my mind a long time ago. I want to stand beside you. But I want to make one thing clear.
Huh?
I'm not doing this because I want you to protect me. I want to go with you. Whatever path you walk, I want to walk it beside you, not behind you.
You're...
For a long moment he looked stunned.
Huh. Well, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Of course I'm right. I'm the woman. The woman is always right. Just kidding.
You're not the kind of woman who needs a man looking out for her all the time.
That's right. Strong, independent woman here, of course. Well, I mean, if we go up against demons or something, then I probably will need a little help.
That's not what I meant.
He laughed.
Thanks, Chizuru. You always know how to cheer me up.
Really? Thanks. I'm glad. That's why we're together in this route.
Yeah, I was kind of freaking out earlier about Kazuma, but I'm telling you now, if he does show up, I'll totally kick his ass.
Yeah, sure you will.
No way I'm gonna let that chump kidnap my girl.
I felt heat rush to my cheeks. No one had ever said anything like that about me before. Heisuke seemed to be feeling much better as well, and that made me happy. You want to head back now? Head back? You mean just go inside? I don't think we actually left.
Yeah, it's getting pretty cold out here.
Night had fallen completely, and it was so dark that we found it a little difficult to make our way back into the castle. I guess we actually did walk out farther. We need to watch where we step. I looked up as I spoke, and was startled to see Heisuke staring directly at me. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. Just thinking.
Tell me what you're thinking.
It's so dark out here I can barely see where I'm going, but for some reason your face is clear as day.
Huh?
Whatever. Let's hurry up and eat. We haven't had any good food in forever.
Sounds good to me. Oh, you're right. They're probably waiting for us. We squeezed one another's hands and set off again. The lights of the castle looked warm and inviting. Couple of kids in love. And on to Total Memories of Love 5, which occurred on March 1868. While the rest of the Koyo Regulatory Company head for Koshu, Todo, Sanan, and the protagonist remain behind in Edo. Sanan's behavior is strange, but not damning. With the rest of the soldiers gone, however, Todo and the protagonist are pleased to find they could spend time with one another. Hooray! Just watch out for Sanan.
Thanks, Chizuru.
When he learned that every time he used his fairy powers he burned away a little of his life, Heisuke's face didn't change. In a way, though, that was what worried me. I begged him not to ever bargain his life away for my sake. But his only response was a smile. If something were to happen to you, he said, how could I turn my back even if it killed me? Always determined to act the hero. Well, you would probably do the same for him. It was so like him, and it broke my heart. March 1868. Soon after returning to Edo, the Shinsengumi left for Koshu as the Koyo Regulatory Company. Their mandate was to keep the peace. The word among the captains was that the campaign was reckless and had only a slim chance of success. Hijikata ordered us to have all the weapons and ammunition gathered by the time they returned from the front. Thinking several steps ahead, he was already anticipating being forced to retreat and left Heisuke and myself behind to supervise preparations for that eventuality. That was not our only mandate, however. We were also to keep a close eye on Sanan, who would be remaining in Edo as well. Doing nefarious things? There were suspicions that a connection might exist between a recent rash of murders and Sanan's Fury Corps. Hijikata had begun to doubt Sanan. Now that I look back on those days, however, I think perhaps that was the last time we would know peace before the real battle began. All the weapons clashed in the distance. For those few days, they were too far away to threaten us. Memories of Love, Part 5. March 1868. Several days had passed since Kondo and the Koyo Regulatory Company departed. Headquarters was silent. I scooped rice into my bowl at dinner time and looked around the empty hall. Not long ago it had been filled with the voices of the captains, but now it held only myself, Heisuke, and Sanan. I never realized how big this room is. It seems smaller when it's full of people.
That's the way it goes. Except for the three of us, it's just the Fury Corps, and they don't come in here. Never thought I'd say this, but I actually kind of miss Shin and Sano trying to steal my dinner.
Aww. At least that was fun.
Ah, well, if that's your desire, I suppose I can assist.
I never would have expected that from you, Sanan.
Allow me to be your dinner thief in place of Nagakura and Harada.
Hey, what are you doing? I don't care if you're Kondo or the Shogun. She made this food, and I'm not. Damn it, he got it.
My, Yukimura, you have improved. This simmered radish is superb.
Really? Thank you. What, I didn't cook everybody's food? Come on, Heisuke, don't look so sad. There's plenty for seconds. I smiled to myself as I watched them talk and eat. They had only just woken up, which made the meal closer to breakfast than dinner, but they seemed to be enjoying it just the same, which made me feel quite good about myself.
How fortunate that becoming a fury does not seem to impair one's sense of taste. It would be a dreadful shame if we could no longer enjoy delicious food.
Yeah, then you could only enjoy delicious blood.
No kidding. We haven't had a good meal in forever. This is great.
Yeah, right? Things were pretty tough back in the magistrate's office. We never knew when they might launch another raid, so everybody was tense all the time, even at dinner.
Yeah, wonder if the boys in Kosho are eating well.
His gaze drifted into the distance, and his chewing slowed. Hijikata had seemed to think that a loss for the regulatory company was inevitable, but what was going on out there? I hope everything goes okay. At least Hijikata was smart.
No doubt they will be fine, but for the moment all we could do is trust in them and hope for their safe return.
Yeah, you're right. Over the last few days, Sanan had seemed calmer and more collected than I'd seen him since his arm was injured. Far from setting me at ease, however, it only made me more concerned. More suspicious. Paranoid.
Yep, I'm not too worried though. Sano and Shin are way too tough to die.
Heisuke didn't seem to share my concerns. His conversation with Sanan was as cheerful and familiar as ever. I couldn't help but think that maybe he had let his guard down. Was he going to be okay?
Is something wrong, Yukimura? You seem distant.
Oh, sorry, I was just spacing out. Would you like seconds?
Thank you, but no. I'm quite full. Thank you for the food, however.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks, Chizuru.
No problem, guys. You're welcome. I cleared the dishes, and by the time I'd finished pouring our after-dinner tea, the last remnants of evening were gone. A normal person would be in bed asleep. Not me. But for the abnormal, now was the hour for them to appear.
The rest of my men must be stirring. Best to go check up on them.
Yeah, if we were still in Kyoto, we'd be out on rounds by now, huh? Although, I guess we don't have any business going out there in Edo.
From where I was, I couldn't see Heisuke's face. But I could see Sanan's, and on it was what I could only describe as a smirk.
There have been so many murders lately. A shame we can't be out there protecting the people. Since we do not actually exist, however, our presence would be something of an embarrassment to the Shinsengumi. Well, I shall see the two of you later.
Yeah, go have fun on your killing spree, Sanan. With a soft smile, he turned and left the room. For several long moments, Heisuke stared at the spot where Sanan's back had disappeared.
He's been acting weird lately. I don't know how to explain it, but he seems calm?
Yeah, I'm not sure why either, but I think that's what's got Hijikata on edge. Maybe he was right. Maybe Sanan has something to do with the murders.
I don't want to believe that, but...
His face looked stern and serious, a sharp contrast from what it had been half an hour before. I couldn't suppress a small grin.
Huh? What? Did I say something funny?
Oh no, I was just thinking that I shouldn't have doubted you.
Huh?
When we were eating, it looked like you let your guard down, like you were just having fun and stuff, you know? So I started to worry that maybe you'd forgotten Hijikata's orders. Should have known it was just an act. I have to admit, I felt a little silly.
Hey, come on. You really think I'm the kind of guy who's gonna forget his mission that easily?
I did, didn't I?
I mean, yeah, okay. Maybe I used to screw around a little back in Kyoto, but this time I'm taking it super seriously. Well, maybe it wasn't totally an act.
Huh?
I know we're supposed to be watching Sanan, and all that political stuff is going on, but I really feel relaxed right now. I'm just happy I got this mission with you, so I could be with you.
Aww.
Besides, I don't have to worry about the other guy spotting us now, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. Nobody else is here. We got the place to ourselves. Since Heisuke was technically dead, he had to stay hidden when the rank-and-file soldiers were around. Now that they were gone, however, he was free to wander around the compound as he pleased. I guess it's kind of the same for me too, huh?
Oh yeah, You wouldn't have to dress like a guy right now if you didn't want to. I know things aren't perfect right now, but you gotta admit it's kinda nice to be able to relax a bit.
Yeah. Usually, Heisuke was faced with a life where violence could happen at any time, so I had no doubt he took full advantage of any chance to relax. We should enjoy it while we can. I mean, within reason. Hijikata did give us a mission.
Yeah, kinda wish we could go walk around Edo a bit.
Yeah, me too. That would have been nice. Well, if we follow Sanan, maybe. The Peach Festival is over already, but it is spring. There's probably lots of nice flowers blooming right now.
I bet if the flowers are blooming, the cherry trees are too. Hey, did you hear about the flower mansion in Asakusa? They got tons of flowers.
Oh yeah, I've always wanted to go there. The flower mansion was a famous botanical garden, but it was only open to the upper crust. Nonetheless, the rumors said that it was incredibly gorgeous. I want to go there someday, that sounds cool.
If we're going all the way out to Asakusa, we should catch a play while we're out there.
They do have a lot of theaters. And how are we going to get in there if they only allow the upper crust? I closed my eyes and let myself imagine it. Heisuke and I would walk together under the warm sunlight. All around us would be the smells and colors of fresh flowers and spring, and on the way back we would visit the theater. Whether or not we would enjoy the flowers much, I couldn't say, but I like to imagine him watching me and smiling warmly. Maybe next spring. Ah, what a lovely dream. I opened my eyes. We were still in the main hall. There was no sunlight and no cherry blossoms. Heisuke was there, though. He was quite real. I hadn't imagined him. I know there isn't much we can do right now, but we should go out and just have fun someday.
Yeah, that sounds nice. I hope we can.
His voice was flat, though, and he didn't meet my eyes. He said nothing, but I knew what troubled him. Would the Shinsengumi survive that long? Would he? I gave him my widest smile. Of course we will, after all. I want it. Who cares what you want? I want it, and I get what I want. Because I want to. Well, what I mean is, I hope we can do that someday. If hoping isn't going to be enough, then I'm going to make it happen. Oh, Chizuru. Heisuke's eyebrows shot up, and for a moment he just stared at me.
So you're just gonna bend the world to your will, huh? Huh. Man, you're really selfish, you know that?
Maybe I am. I have been feeling kind of selfish lately. He didn't say anything, just looked into my eyes with the same warm, soft gaze I remembered from Fujimi Forest. The eyes that I loved. While I'm being selfish, can I ask you one more favor?
Huh?
It's about this whole thing we've been talking about, us going and spending some time together somewhere. I want you to promise me you'll do it. Will you?
Of course. I feel just like you do.
Thanks. Sorry for being so demanding.
Don't sweat it. You can be as selfish as you want with me. But don't do that for anybody else, okay?
Of course not. For? You mean you want me to act spoiled with you?
Yeah, it's kind of adorable, like your smile. I feel jealous if other guys got to see that stuff.
Well, I can't promise I'm not going to smile for anybody else. My cheeks were burning, but he didn't even seem to notice. He probably hadn't even considered the effect his words would have on me. He was only speaking his mind. So I just nodded and hoped that the light was dim enough to hide my face.
Whoops. Can't just sit around all night. I shouldn't let Sanan out of my sight for too long. Time to go check up on him.
Okay, I'll get started on, well, I guess it'll be lunch for you, huh?
Sounds great. I won't forget that promise, but for now, I'll just look forward to your next meal.
I'll try to make something great. We had so little time to spend with one another. There was so much more I wanted to say to him, but the world moved on whether I wanted it to or not. After Heisuke had become a fury, I found myself wishing that the night would last forever. It seemed like the sun and the passage of time were conspiring to whittle down what little time I had with him. Why are Heisuke's chapters so long? Oh, they're so difficult for me to read because Heisuke's voice is the only one that kind of hurts my throat a little bit. And of course, his would have to be the longest ones. But next episode will be 6 and 7, I believe. Because it seems like no matter how long they get, I'm still doing 2 per video. And then 8 will be his last one, and then we get to do all the other guys. So hope to see you on that next video or some of my other ones. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye, everybody.